7 News reporter Zach Grady live in Cape Vincent with that story. Zach.
Jeff, many here in Cape Vincent say that this moment has been 3 years in the making. The 20-mile drive from Watertown to Philadelphia along Route 11 was lined with stranded cars, jackknife trucks, and a lot of snow. Brooks adds at Indian River, the school has a plan ready to be put into action if this sort of medical emergency happens at a home game. Northrop says the combination of the new cash policy plus the soon-to-be opening of spokes on the green may allow for a new amenity here at Thompson Park Golf Course. Now, when you did talk to the USGS, the Geological Survey, what did they tell you about being able to predict these and whether or not we're going to know if we're going to have any more going forward? Democrats in the House have released 6 years of tax returns from former President Donald Trump. It follows a long legal battle that went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Officers deployed a stinger, or a tire deflation device, to disable Hutt's vehicle. A second officer used his vehicle head-on to prevent Hutt from going into this home here on Thompson Boulevard. With a foot of powder already on the ground, Snow Ridge General Manager Nick Beer says an early storm could have an exponential effect for a successful season. The artists from American Carving Company will be here at Burville Power Equipment through the end of the week. Zach Grady, 7 News.
The Black River Valley Four-Wheeler Club placed hundreds of flags on veterans' graves this morning, honoring those who have served and those who have made sacrifices. 7 News reporter Zach Grady was on hand for the ride and the remembrance.
More than a dozen riders spent their Thursday morning together, taking part in a nearly 20-year-old Memorial Day weekend tradition.
It's a tradition for this club to go out the Thursday before Memorial Day and put flags out by the graves of our veterans.
Von Baron, Korea, Sergeant.
The Black River Valley Four-Wheeler Club placed American flags at 8 different cemeteries across the town of Gregg. 200 flags will be placed next to veterans' gravestones, honoring the sacrifices made for their country.
Many people lost their lives in the service, have passed on, and we just want to pay our respect back to the people that served us.
With the sounds of a bugle in the background, the club quietly lined the fields of Brandingham Cemetery with the stars and stripes of Old Glory.
Well, for us, this kicks off the Memorial Day weekend, okay, maybe on a quieter note, okay, as paying respects to our vets.
Club President Mike Leviker says the annual observance is a way for the club to connect with the community while at the same time remembering those who served.
You know, we want to respect the environment, we want to pay back to the community, and this is what ATVing or your off-highway vehicle is all about.
Go out and probably ride over the weekend, but this will stay in our minds.
Each of the old flags removed from the graves will be brought to the American Legion for a flag burning ceremony and proper disposal. One person is dead and a second is injured after an all-terrain vehicle collides with a pole in the town of Martinsburg. The Lewis County Sheriff's Office reports the crash happened Saturday when 55-year-old Gene Clark and 48-year-old Kim Clark, both of Rome, New York, were traveling on Swerwinski Road. Sheriffs say the ATV left the road colliding with a utility pole. Mrs. Clark was transported from the scene with significant injuries, later succumbing to them at Lewis County General Hospital. Mr. Clark suffered a leg injury after being ejected from the ATV. Sheriffs are still investigating. It is not believed that alcohol and speed were a factor in the crash. Lewis County Sheriffs are investigating a second crash that occurred early Saturday morning just before 4:30 a.m. Angelo Corto, 46, of New Jersey, and Paul Lacaze, 34, from Queens, New York, were driving north on Cronk Road when their UTV rolled after failing to negotiate a turn. They struck a tree. Mercy Flight transported Curto to SUNY Upstate with unknown injuries. Lacaze was taken to Lewis County General Hospital before being released. Lewis County Sheriff's investigation is ongoing. They are asking anyone with information to contact their office. People were out across the North Country Saturday as spring has sprung in Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence County. We start there in Canton as one group hosted an Earth Day electric and hybrid vehicle car show. 7 News reporter Sean Brenda tells us how these owners are embracing their electric rides. The Taste of the Town turned 20 Saturday. More than 30 restaurants served up their best dishes for the 600-plus people who found out what was cooking in Watertown. The 20th annual tasting was put on by the Watertown Sunrise Rotary. The fundraiser is the biggest of the year for the Rotary Club. Proceeds from the event help to provide a grant to a local organization each year, with this year's grant being given to the Victims Assistance Center. Organizers say attendance is up for both people attending and for the number of vendors participating.
We have much better turnout this year than what we saw last year. And again, I think people are just over the pandemic. They're ready to get out and enjoy things. And it's a good event. The weather's great. So it's been a great day.
One of the judges at this year's event, WWNY's own Mackenzie Pyatt. First-time participant Taste of the Philippines took home the top prize, winning both the Best Local category and the People's Choice Award. Thousands rolled out and revved up their off-road vehicles for the 18th annual Snert Run. Part snow, part dirt, the Snert Run provides big business for those in the Tug Hill area each year. I got a chance to talk to one of them this morning, plus speak with the organizers of the annual event.
For the Tug Hill region, this will give everybody a shot in the arm that they need for the in-between off-season.
Officials estimate more than 6,000 people came out for last year's part dirt, part snow ride known as the Snert Run. With organizers saying they think this year will be even bigger, businesses around Barnes Corners couldn't be more excited.
How are you today? Good. I hope you have a great day and stay safe. Thank you.
It's a huge financial impact. This weekend is, kind of carries you through till you get to, Memorial Day weekend and people start riding more and getting, camping in.
The annual event is a kickoff to the spring riding season and a much-needed boost to Barnes Corners after a slow year for snowfall.
With the lack of snow we had this year, the restaurants, the businesses, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and partaking, and it'll be a good event this year.
This is a big weekend for us because you're kind of transitioning from winter into the summer season. So this weekend is kind of a nice, bump in activity and everything for the whole hill.
More than a dozen local businesses from across the county took part in Saturday's Snert Ride. Still to come tonight on 7 News, Chris Hudson rejoins us from the Weather Center with your full weekend forecast. Plus, baseball, softball, and lacrosse. Rob Crone's in with your North Country Sports Report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The gates opened early and the parking lot was full at MBT Bank Stadium in Syracuse as a sellout crowd came to see New York Mets ace Jacob deGrom pitch in what could be his final rehab start before making his way back to the majors.
Let's go Mets!
The 10,815 in attendance for deGrom's third rehab start is the largest recorded crowd at MBT Bank Stadium since the partnership between the teams began in 2019.
To see deGrom, I'm a huge Mets fan. I've been a Mets fan since probably like 1982.
I'm just looking forward to seeing him in person and see what he's got going on.
deGrom looked sharp out of the gate, recording a 1-2-3 first inning, highlighted by a strikeout of Jacksonville's Brian Miller on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. deGrom in a bit of a jam in the bottom of the second after giving up a double and a walk. The 4-time NL All-Star got out of trouble, getting Peyton Burdick to ground into the 4-6-3 double play.
Trying to work on locating the fastball and pitch off of that. Threw some good off speed, wasn't quite where I wanted to, but like I said, I haven't really pitched in a game in a year.
deGrom finished the night after 41 pitches over 4 innings. The 2-time NL strikeout leader K'd 4 batters on the night, giving up 1 unearned run on 2 hits.
So it's going to be a little bit of figuring out that release point as well. So, but all in all, I felt like I accomplished what I came out here to do.
As for whether deGrom's next Mets start will be with Syracuse or back in the big leagues,
I'm not sure. That'll be the discussion we have in the following week or so.
although the 10,000 blue and orange faithful came out to see Jacob deGrom, it was the Mets offense that kept everyone in the seats. With 4 runs in the second and another 2 runs in the 7th, the Mets were able to hold off Jacksonville for the 6-4 victory. Zach Grady, 7 News. General Brown making its first state title game appearance since 2010. Pick up the action in the second quarter, Lions trailing when senior running back Caleb Natali would take it in from 2 yards out for 6. Natali had 70 yards on 18 carries. Lions would take the lead on a 2-point conversion to go up 8-7. Second half action now. James O'Neal with the 13-8 advantage when junior quarterback Aiden McManaman drops a 27-yard dime-minute tally, his second score of the night. McManaman 4 of 11 for 86 yards and a touchdown. General Brown goes up 14-13. Fourth quarter, Lions trailing again 16-14 behind the chains and can't convert on a 4th and 15 in Raider territory. James O'Neal all but ices it on the very next play as Nick Waugh hits Malik Arbogast in stride. He takes it 82 yards to the house and the 23-14 lead with 6 minutes left. Arbogast again on defense puts the finishing touches on the Raiders' 12-2 state championship season with the interception.
I think when they look back on it and get over the initial heartbreak of losing the state championship, I think that's exactly what they'll see, is this was one of the best teams that's ever played at General Brown, and they achieved some phenomenal things.
They got what we gave them. They capitalized off our mistakes, and that's what we should have had fixed, but we slipped up and they capitalized.
Although the General Brown Lions came up just short of their ultimate goal, with 5 returning starters on offense and another 4 returning starters on defense, Coach Black says that the preseason begins on Monday. From the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse, Zach Grady, 7 News Sports. I'm Zachary Grady, and this is the Empire State of Mind. It may only be the Eastern Conference semis, but the Nets and Bucks second-round matchup has an NBA Finals feel to it. Brooklyn and Milwaukee were the top 2 teams in the NBA in scoring this season. You have a 2-time MVP on one side in Giannis Antetokounmpo, and on the other side, 2 former league MVPs in Kevin Durant and James Harden. We go to Barclays for Game 1. And early in Game 1, James Harden comes up lame here, holding his hamstring. Harden missed 18 games in the regular season due to a strained hamstring. He would miss the rest of Game 1 as well. PJ Tucker here with a little defense early, throwing it up for the Greek Freak who slams it down. Giannis would have 34, 11, and 4 assists as he gets the end one here on Blake Griffin, but it would be way too much of the Nets as Kevin Durant hits Kyrie Irving here for the pretty up and under. Kyrie would have 25 points in 45 minutes as he hits another one here off the assist from Joe Harris. Durant now playing a little pick and roll with Blake Griffin. Griffin, 18 points, 14 boards in 35 minutes in his resurgence. Then Kyrie Irving going skip to my Lou, hits the and one mixtape killer crossover. Now playing a little defense, Kyrie to Landry Shamet with the slam. The boys will be boys. The Nets just rolling. The up and under here. Bruce Brown with his only 2 points of the night. Then Kyrie jumps the pass here in the fourth quarter. Hits Durant for the finish. Durant had 29 and 10 in 40 minutes of action. And then just count the passes. 2, 3, 4, 5 for the finish and the 3. Nets would win 115-107, but not all smiles, as the Brooklyn would be dealing with the loss of James Harden.
So far, Halloween's a bigger letdown than being a Mets fan.
Opening day, and here's the first pitch, and the season's over.
I feel your pain, Stewie. Now, the season isn't quite over yet, but for the first time in 90 days, Mets fans are waking up this morning looking up to someone else atop the NL East. Mets in Philadelphia, we pick it up in the 9th. Michael Conforto pinch hitting, and he hits an absolute moonshot to the second deck. His 7th home run of the season. Mets get on the board in the 9th. Jonathan VR here. He goes back-to-back with a line drive to right center. Mets showing a little signs of life, down 5-2. And then James McCann, he says, I got next. Back-to-back for the Jacks for the Mets. Mets rallied down just 2 with no outs in the 9th. Runners on first and second for J.D. Davis. Ian Kennedy blows it by him for the save. Mets lose 5-3. Game and a half back in the NL.
Puck comes out to McDonough. Has the game on his stick. Oh, what a block in front by Pollock. The Islanders win game 4. Wow.
If there was an award in the NHL for Save of the Year, Islanders defenseman Ryan Pulocked it up last night.
Down with 6 seconds remaining, former Ranger Ryan McDonough hit the B button, put a nasty spin move on the Islanders goalie, and with an empty net, it was Pulock's kick save and a beaut that secured the Game 4 win for New York. The series shifts back south to Tampa for Game 5 on Monday. There's no better person out there on or off the field. If you don't like Malachi Jones, you don't like puppies or Santa Claus. That is what head coach Tom Menes said about his star wide receiver Malachi Jones after re-signing with the Albany Empire. Jones played in the Empire in 2018 and 19. He was the AFL wide receiver of the year. Both years, he had 54 touchdowns and 2,500 receiving yards. This is Jones's second stint in the NAL. He was the NAL Rookie of the Year in 2017 for the High Country Grizzlies. Dads, thanks again for joining us today. Make sure you lace up your Air Monarchs. We got our baby blues on for Father's Day. Have fun, and then always, keep making sure that you're living life with an Empire state of mind.